Hey, what's going on? This is Stephen Place with Precision Volume Alerts, and today I am in the middle of a hurricane. We didn't think it would hit us. We're in the Gulf Coast of Florida, and most of the storm is due west of us in Louisiana, but there's just this nasty band. It's swinging around, picking up all that water out of the Gulf of Mexico and just dumping on us right now. So I can't go out, can't do errands or anything else, so I thought I would just take a step back and give you a case study of magnet levels and how we can use these magnet levels for very fast trading profits, especially in the options market. So what I'd like to do for you today is show you this case study, transfer it over into a live trade that you could potentially look at, and give you special access to a training where I pull back the curtain completely and show you everything we do with Precision Volume Alerts. So let's go ahead and hop over and take a look at this chart. And this is in CYBR. This is CyberArk Solutions. And let me just pull up a pen so I can mark this up a little bit. So the stock saw a really nice move from, I think it was 110, and it saw a run to 150. And during this time, during this push, the stock then just traded in this range for about a month and a half. And there's this tendency for stocks that build volume into certain ranges, those become anchor points. And sometimes they act as support and resistance. And other times those points become so important, they act as magnets. All right. So we did see this nice little clearance of this volume shelf right here. And we were expecting a push into this area. Okay, back into this 150 area. Now, this matters a lot when you're choosing options. You have to make sure you're choosing enough time, okay, to own that option. You also have to make sure you're choosing the right strike, because if you're just doing straight at the money options, they tend to be very expensive. They tend to have a lot more time decay and things like that. And many times it's better to choose out of the money options. And it's even better when you have key magnet levels like this that you can work from. So what we called out was we did see this clearance of this big volume shelf, and I basically said this may act as a magnet, that we would see this push into the 150s again. So what happened here is that the stock did break out, saw a little bit of a shakeout before its earnings event, and then it had a very nice earnings reaction. It was a beat raise, and then it put in this little bull flag pattern, and then we finally saw completion of our pattern as it runs into this magnet level. All right, so the stock from our entry point was, it's currently up 17% from our entry. And because we use options to juice our returns, we picked up the 160 calls out in October. And we are currently up 151% from our entry. Now we've taken profits and scaled out along the way just to manage our overall risk. Yet that has been an incredibly powerful trade for us because we could identify those key levels saying this has a high probability of getting hit and that the options market is drastically underpricing that. And that's where we can get a very good edge with what we're doing. So here's another example, and this is a live trade that you could consider. Again, I'm not a broker dealer. I'm not your financial advisor or anything like this. This is for educational purposes only, but this is a chart of UPS. Now, UPS had a really nice run right here. I'm pretty sure this was earnings, and it saw a huge jam higher, and then the stock just went sideways for about a month and a half. It gets crushed to the downside, round trips, comes back into this magnet level, and then it gets a nasty gap down on earnings. All right, so since then, it's just been basing out. We've found buyers again. We have found some support levels. There was a test of this gap low that failed, all right? And you can see this failed auction right here, and that led to a push to the other end of this range. Now it's developing what we could call a cup and handle pattern or an Adam and Eve bottom, and we have this monster gap that could potentially act as a magnet where the stock will have no choice but to auction higher. Why? Because anyone who bought this dip, if they want to take profits, they're probably not going to take profits yet. They're probably going to take profits once we come into this gap fill and once we come back into this magnet area from the last time we saw this traded. Okay, so you can look at the stock, or you can, excuse me, you can also look at the underlying options. So this as an example, this is the December 220 call, and it's currently going for about $2. All right. Now, if we were to see a move back up to this magnet level right here, then this $2 option would then be worth about $7. Okay. And you don't really have to worry too much about time decay because this is so far out in time that time decay is not a factor. All right. So if you're buying an option for $2, you sell it for $7. That is a profit of $5 per contract, right? So if you earn $5 per contract on a $2 max risk, that means you have potentially 250% return on risk right there. All right. And that's a fantastic trade. And of course, this can go higher. You know, if UPS has some kind of good news, or if we see the sector really start to run, the transport sector really start to run, then you can see a breakout to new all-time highs, and you can go from 250% return on risk to potentially 300%. Okay, so that's our approach, and that's what we like to do here at Precision Volume Alerts. Now, if you would like to go a little bit further and see exactly how we do this, how we use our roadmap, how we select our strike prices for our options to get massive profit potential on these trades, then I'd like to invite you to a special training where I show you how to do exactly that. Below this video is a link that will get you access to this free training. I highly encourage you to watch it. It will go over everything that we've talked about and more in much more detail so you can see how this approach works. So click the link below this video to get started, and I'll see you on the training. Take care.